Still later, I found a peculiar soapstone fragment about 6 inches across and 1.5 inches thick, wholly unlike any visible local formation. Greenish, but no evidence since the Pleistocene period, has curious smoothness and regularity, shaped like a 5-pointed star with tips broken off, and signs of other cleavage at inward angles and in center of surface. Small, smooth depression in the center of unbroken surface. Arouses much curiosity as to source and weathering. Probably some freaking water action. Terror with magnifier thinks he can make out additional markings of geological significance. Groups of tiny dots in regular patterns, dogs growing uneasy as we work, and seem to hate this soapstone. Must see if it has any peculiar odor. We'll report again when Mills gets back with light when we start on the underground area. (10:15 p.m.) Important discovery. Orendorff and Watkins, working underground at 9:45 with light, found monstrous barrel-shaped fossil of wholly unknown nature. Probably vegetable unless an overgrown specimen of unknown marine radiata. Tissue evidently preserved by mineral salts, tough as leather, astonishing flexibility retained in places. Marks of broken off parts at ends of around sides. 6 feet end to end, 3.5 feet central diameter, tapering to 1 foot at each end, like a barrel with 5 bulging ridges, in place of staves. Lateral breakages as of thinning stalks are at equator in middle of these ridges, and furrows between ridges are curious growths. Combs or wings that fold and spread out like fans, all greatly damaged but one, which gives almost 7-foot wingspread. Arrangement reminds me of one of the certain monsters of primal myth, especially fabled elder things in Necronomicon. These wings seem to be membranous, stretched on framework of glandular tubing. Apparent minute orifices in frame tubing as at wingtips, ends of body shrivel, giving no clue to interior as to what has been broken off there. Must dissect when we get back to camp. Can't decide whether vegetable or animal. Many features obviously are of almost incredible primitiveness. Have sent all hands cutting stalactites and looking for further specimens. Additional scarred bones found, but these must wait. Having trouble with dogs. They can't endure the new specimen and would probably tear it to pieces if we didn't keep it at a distance from them. 11:30 p.m. Attention, Dyer, Pabity, Douglas, matter of highest, might I say, transcendent importance. Arkham must relay to Kingsport, head station at once. Strange barrel growths is the arcane thing that left prints in rocks. Mills, Boudreaux, and Fowler discover cluster of 13 more at underground point 40 feet from aperture, mixed with curiously rounded and configured soapstone fragments smaller than One previously found, star-shaped but no marks of breakage is kept at some points. Of organic specimens, 8 apparently perfect, with all appendages. I've brought all to its first surface, leading off dogs to distance. They cannot stand the things. Give close attention to description and repeat back for accuracy. Papers must get this right. Objects are 8 feet long all over, 6 foot 5 ridged barrel torso, 3.5 center diameter, 1 foot end diameters. Dark gray, flexible and infinitely tough. Objects are 8 feet up. 7 foot membranous wings of same color, found folded, spread out of furrows between ridges. Wing framework tubular or glandular, of lighter gray or with orifices at wingtips. Spread wings have serrated edge. Around equator, one at central apex of each of the 5 vertical stave-like ridges, are 5 systems of light gray flexible arms or tentacles, found tightly supported to the torso but expansive to maximum length of over 3 feet. Like arms of primitive crinoid. Single stalks 3 inches diameter branch after 6 inches into 5 substalks, each of which branches after 8 inches into 5 small. Tapering tentacles or tendrils give each stalk a total of 25 tentacles. At tops of torso, blunt bulbous neck of lighter gray with gill-like suggestions holds yellowish 5-pointed starfish-shaped apparent head, covered with 3-inch wiry cilia of various prismatic colors. Head thick and puffy, about 2 feet point to point, with 3-inch flexible yellowish tubes projecting from each point. Slit in exactly center of top, probably breathing aperture. At end of each tube, a spherical expansion where yellowish membrane rolls back on, handling to reveal glassy red irised globe, evidently an eye. 5 slightly longer reddish tubes start from inner angles of starfish-shaped head to an end, and sac-like swellings of same color upon pressure open to bell-shaped orifices 2 inches maximum diameter and lined up with sharp white tube-like projections. Problem mouse. All these tubes, cilia, and points of starfish head found on fully folded tightly down, tubes at points clinging to bulbous head and neck torso. Flexibility surprising despite vast toughness. At bottom of torso, rough but dissimilarly functioning counterparts of head and arrangements exist. Bulbous light gray pseudo-neck without gill suggestions. Holds greenish, five-pointed starfish arrangement. Tough, muscular arms 4 feet long and tapering from 7 inches diameter at base to about 2.5 at point. To each point is attached small end of a greenish 5-veined membranous triangle 8 inches long and 6 wide at farther end. This is the paddle, or pseudo-foot, which is made prints in rocks from 1,000 million to 50 or 60 million years old. From inner angles of starfish arrangement project 2-foot reddish tubes tapering from 3 inches diameter at base to 1 at tip. Orifices at tip. All these parts eminently tough and leathery, but extremely flexible. 4-foot arms with paddles undoubtedly used for locomotion of some sort, marine or otherwise. When moved, display suggestions of exaggerated muscularity. As found, all these projections, tightly folded over pseudo-neck and at end of torso, corresponding to projections at other end. Cannot yet assign positively to animal or vegetable kingdom, but odds now favor animal. Probably represents incredibly advanced evolution of radiata without loss of certain primitive features. Echinoderm resemblances unmistakable despite local contradictory evidences. Wing structure puzzles in view of probable marine habitat, but have use in water navigation. Symmetry is curiously vegetable-like, suggesting vegetables essentially up and down structure rather than animals forward and aft structure. Fabulously early date of evolution, preceding even simplest archaic protozoa hitherto known, baffles all conjecture as to origin. Complete specimens have such uncanny resemblances to certain creatures of primal myth that suggestion of ancient existence outside of Antarctic becomes inevitable. Dyer and Pabody have read Necronomicon and seen Clark Ashton Smith's nightmare paintings based on the text. They will understand when I speak of elder things supposed to have created all earth life as jest or mistake. Students have always thought conception formed from morbid imagination, treatment of very ancient tropical radiata. Also prehistoric folklore things Wilmarth has spoken of. Cthulhu, cult appendages, etc. Vast field of study opened. Deposits probably of late Cretaceous or early Eocene period. Judging from associated specimens, massive stalagmites deposited above them. Hard work hewing out, but toughness prevented damage. State of preservation miraculous, evidently owing to a limestone action. No more is found so far, but we'll resume search later. Job now is to get 14 huge specimens to camp without dogs, which bark furiously and can't be trusted near them. With 9 men, 3 left to guard the dogs, we ought to manage the 3 sledges fairly well, though wind is bad. Must establish plain communication with McMurdo Sound and begin shipping material. But I've got to dissect one of these things before taking a rest. Wish I had a real laboratory here. Dyer better kick himself for having tried to stop my westward trip. First the world's greatest mountains, then this. This last isn't the high spot of the expedition. I don't know what is. We're made scientifically. Congrats, Pabody, on the drill that opened up the cave. Now will Arkham please repeat description? The sensations of Pabody and myself at receipt of this report were almost beyond description. nor were our companions much behind us in enthusiasm.